This video is sponsored by Book My Garage. It's a simple way to compare pricing from local independent garages for all kind of work. You can compare prices, read reviews and book your appointment online. The prices are great and it couldn't be simpler to use. Please use the link in the video description and help support the channel. Thanks. Hello folks, so once again we find ourselves over at the WhatCar website, and this time we're looking at the 10 slowest depreciating cars in 2022. Now all the figures here are based on the trade-in value of these cars, so you'll see the value of them on here. It doesn't mean you can go and buy one for that price, it's the trade value, which is probably the fairest measure of actual value when you think about it. So although the prices you see on here you probably can't go and buy one for, it gives you a good idea of the cars that hold their value the best. And these values that are shown are based on a 3-year-old car with 36,000 miles on the clock. Let's crack on. So the first one's the good old Range Rover 3-litre P400 SE to be precise. List price of that is 103 grand, and after 3 years it retains 75% of its value at 77,500. So it only loses 25 grand in the first 3 years. That's a lot of money, but on a 100 grand car it's kind of not. Just remember, if you're one of the people thinking about buying a 3-year-old Land Rover, you certainly want a few quid set aside for maintenance and repairs, and you should also look at extending your warranty as much as you can, your actual Land Rover warranty, because that will come in handy. Mercedes CLA shooting brake is number 9, the CLA 180 AMG line. List price of that one's 33.5 grand, 3-year resale value at 25 grand, so it only drops 8 grand in the first 3 years, which is fairly phenomenal. The last year or two, don't forget, have been a bit like no other in terms of residual values, so you won't expect to see this carrying on in future, I wouldn't have thought. Number 8 is Volkswagen California. Not a massive surprise with this one. Obviously staycations went through the roof in the last couple of years. It's the 2-litre TDI 150 Beach Tour. List price 58 grand, after 3 years 44.5, so it retains 76% of its value. Number 7, the Range Rover Evoque 2-litre D165 2-wheel drive to be precise, 32.5 grand, only drops down to 25,850. It's the entry level diesel, but it holds its value better than all the others. You often find the cars that depreciate fastest are right at the top of trim spec and like engine spec. So these lower level ones, much like the Mercedes, tend to hold their value sometimes a little bit better. Number 6, the Porsche Mccann. List price 51 grand, after 3 years 41 grand. So it retains 80% of its value. That's very good. That's the 2-litre 265. Next we've got the Porsche Boxster. Seen a pattern forming here by any chance? It's the 4-litre Spider Porsche 718 Boxster. 79,000 new, 64,000 after 3 years. Residuals on Porsches have been doing well. Next, the VW Multivan, the 1.4 TSI E Hybrid Life. 48 grand, 49 grand more or less up front, 40 grand after 3 years. Price drop of only 8,385, retaining 82.8% of its value. Next, the Porsche 718 Cayman, and I actually know, this is the GT4 by the way, I know of a couple of these GT4s that have been sold used more than they were new. 3-year resale value on that 67,450 after an £81,000 more or less purchase price. So it retains 83.5% of its value. Number 2 is the Lamborghini Urus. Wow. So the Urus is probably the most exotic SUV currently available on the market, being a Lambo and all that, but retains 86% of its value more or less. Drops 25 grand in 3 years on a £177,000 car. Oof. But the best car of all for holding its value is the Porsche 911 GT3. They're 134 grand more or less as the purchase price, 119.5 after 3 years. Retains 86.5% of its value. And believe me, you can sell one of those privately at 3 years old with 36,000 on it for much, much closer to its purchase price than that 119 grand they're talking about there. The GT3 is basically the performance version of what's already a performance car. It's a monster, massively highly sought after, and of course the demand and supply issues that have been going on mean that people are happy to fork out for one just to get their hands on one, rather than wait for a year or more for a new one, possibly much longer. So yeah, no real surprise there, but lots of Porsches in the top 10. Unfortunately, not too many of us can afford to buy a brand new Porsche, can we? But if you can, it's probably not a bad little investment at the moment. I'm going to put a link to this WhatCar article in the video description, so do go and check out WhatCar. I do use their articles from time to time to make these videos, so go and check them out. And also, please check out the link for my sponsor, which is pinned as a top comment and in the video description. It really does help support the channel. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that button. And if you are already subscribed, please just hit that notification bell so that you're informed when I do release a new video. And also, please go and follow me on the social medias. I'm popping up the links to those at the moment, but please go and follow me on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and keep supporting the channel. Thanks very, very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.